My name is Oscar Lanzaranda, and I'm the Vice President of the Spanish Federation of Group of Folclore, Feaf, and I'm accompanied by our President, Pedro Ortiz, and supported by Ascensión Hermosilla and Teresa Maneira, as accompanying us in this conference. First, we want to thank I.O.V. for this opportunity to explain why our projects in this conference. We have working step by step about an overall plan that we further developed below 400 years ago, and we titled it as overall project of traditional culture in Spain by Feaf, and it consists of several paragraphs. We will try to summarize the content of our last years. We are working in several projects, but all of them have a common way that we will explain in this presentation. Here we'll develop projects that we managed to get, but we have some future actions that are part of this overall project. This overall plan, developed by Feaf, have been working up for some years looking for the conformity and the cooperation of different sectors involved in this area of the culture, inside and outside of our borders. It's a plan that still is fitting pieces, so we are adapting, studying and changing all the time to fit it to the reality and to the new collaborations with other organizations, so that it could reverberate in associations and groups that are principal protagonists, I think, when we think of our actions and intentions. For some years, we have been developing some offers that we have exposed in different occasions in World Congresses, National Conference, International Conference, etc. And nowadays, we can say that some of these activities and programs are a reality. This overall plan about traditional music and dance of Spain, developed by Spanish Federation of Folklore groups, and it is divided in several paragraphs. Conventions about the safe war of the intangible cultural heritage of UNESCO, the no-law approach in defense of the Spanish traditional music and dance, overall plan about traditional music and dance in Spain of Feaf, and the certificate of specialist teacher in traditional dance and other programs of the future. As we are explaining, the overall plan doesn't arise for the change, but arise the approval of some convention of UNESCO about the safeguard of the intangible cultural heritage. These conventions, the first in 1989, in the 32nd meeting, UNESCO considered the importance of the intangible cultural heritage, and it's expressed in the recommendation about the safeguard of the traditional culture. In 2001 and 2002, UNESCO speaks about the conservation and protection, but the Convention of UNESCO in 2003 about the safeguard of the intangible cultural heritage considers its importance as a mainspring of cultural diversity and a guarantee also to sustainable development. UNESCO recognizes that communities, groups and individuals play an important role in the production, safeguarding, maintenance and retention of the intangible cultural heritage, thus helping to enrich cultural diversity and human creativity. It was approved in 17th October 2003 and is activated in April 2006 to safeguard the function, representation, expressions, knowledge and techniques that communities, groups or people reconcile as part of their heritage. The Convention of UNESCO in 2003 and 2005, the Convention speaks on process for the transmission of knowledge and is complemented to the Convention of UNESCO in 2005. That is referred to the protection and promotion of the diversity of the cultural expressions and the production of these cultural expressions that are disseminated and shared by means of cultural activities and services. The program of this convention has a resulted some important achievement for us. The Cultura has found a place that is delivering the priorities of the international community. This has become the real platform to the dialogue and the development, and is opening new horizons of solidarity. The consequences are the approach covers our fields of development and research, cataloging, and education and information. And these conventions are the first point about our overall plan that is completed with the no-law proposition approach in defense of the traditional music and dance in Spain. In the same way of this convention of UNESCO, the government of Spain and the Deputy Congress approved a no-law approach about the protection and promotion of the traditional music and dance that tries to support the accomplishment of activities and works to advance in this important point. This approach was approved in 18 May 2010 unanimously, which is the result of the collaboration of Feaf, of Spain, I.O.V, and the Congress of Spain. We express the definition of this approach in the term that is necessary to adopt measures in the way of ensuring a better understanding, transmitting, and protection. This means promoting a resolute action about identification, documentation, research, preservation, protection, promotion, enhancement, transmission, and revitalization of the heritage in its various aspects. To complete the advance of it needs a dissemination and momentum. It urges the Spanish government to promote a cooperation with autonomous communities, regions of Spain, and city councils, the next actions. General politics about the importance of the music and dance of the oral tradition, to foster research and scientific centers, technical, artistic, as well as researchers' methodologies for its effective safeguard, and to develop a catalogue of music and dance from the oral tradition of the whole of the state, and to facilitate knowledge and dissemination by means of a web portal, to promote the study in the arts education and university, to study measures to show that no one can resist a work of popular character, to consider the implementation of academic degree programs regulated specific content in traditional music and dance, to create centers dedicated to its research, cataloging, transmission, distribution, conservation, protection, and safeguarding, to support and encourage international cooperation of the organizations that are concerned about this area of the culture, as is the I.O.V. The approach is referred to some collectives and dissemination by means of the recognition to the association and federations that have been decided this is deficit for the safeguarding, dissemination, study, projection, conservation of the artistic and traditional legacy of the different communities, countries, and corners of our geography. These collectives have maintained for decades ago, with limited and uneven support, the objective reflected in the Conference of UNESCO and referred to this approach even before they existed as such. This collective of traditional culture, for the most part, is non-profit NGOs, or depend of town council, regional councils, house of culture, or other public and private organizations. It also is based in the safeguard of the culture. Spain has seen the documents established by I.O.V, UNESCO, European Parliament, etc. are referred about the safeguard of the traditional culture and the intercultural dialogue. It's necessary to commitment to respect and defend the interests promulgated by these documents, and to help people, organizations, experts, meetings, and samples to spread the culture of dance and music of oral tradition. Some of these qualities are federation, as Feaf, as are entities which represent the different groups and associations related with traditional culture, turning to speakers of the same ones. Because of it, Feaf has worked to put into practice what associations were going asking for decades. That is, take to the place that traditional music and dance is deserved in the cultural and social aspects. This plan is raised to drive activities of fair to support and to preserve customs and traditions, therefore the Spanish heritage across the traditional music and dance. As part of our plan was designed by Fair, but besides obtaining help, tried to contribute for a few premeditations. To value the importance of the music and dance of our tradition and the entities and people that help to promote the respect and the other actions in favor of the same one. To realize an analysis about the current situation in Spain, promoting meetings of specialists to advance in the scientific research of this area of the culture. To create different university degrees about traditional music and dance, to the study and specialization of the several areas of them, to give their support to the incorporation of activities related with traditional dance and the knowledge of the future folklore in schools and going to the university the career of folklore, including the speciality of the ethnochoreology. What it means to integrate it in the formal education from the infancy. To elaborate a catalog of music and dance of oral tradition of a whole country, devised by a group of specialists to create a record and an access of this catalog across the technologies, having a center of documentation of traditional culture, to find every traditional music and dance, knowing that there is a lot of different formats and contents for what is necessary to study about the evolution of traditional dance. This needs stimulate the work of specialists, amateur groups, professional artistic, aesthetic industry, programmers and show creators to intensify the presence of folklore in stages and meetings out of our bodies. To be aware in TV and other media about the importance of this area of the culture, to dedicate time and informative programs, to establish measures to avoid that any creator can take possession of a popular music and dance relating changes in our law. To promote measures that allow to coordinate the action of different instruments of the country and the EU. Convention of UNESCO and approval of novel law approach in defense of the traditional music and dance in Spain open new ways in this area. But this declaration of intention have to manifest their realities, as the government has compromised when signed and approved these documents. First, have developed this overall plan, being based on them without waiting for contacts and actions of the government, which never came. Feaf has opened dialogue and communication lines between different federations and entities related with the traditional culture. This exposition of these actions have been developing for several years by means of some lines of action. Study and dissemination convention approved by UNESCO, creation the law approach approved in the Deputies Congress in Spain, meeting with the Minister of Culture of Spain to develop this approach, knowing the importance of the participation in the defense and value of the traditional music and dance, welfare, so the general lines of this overall program. Presentation of this overall plan in the second World Congress of the CID in San Marino last year, having a great attention and interest for participants. Development and approval of the first certificate of specialist in traditional dance that is released in Spain this year in collaboration with University King Juan Carlos. Presentation of the overall plan in National Congress of Folklore developing last March in the University King Juan Carlos in the campus of Fuenlabrada, Madrid. Presentation the overall plan to the Chief of Areas of the National Library of Spain in a personal interview this year in Madrid. Presentation the overall plan to managers of the National Institute of Aesthetic Arts, to managers of national files of the Department of Culture, and to managers of cultural industries in the summer of competitions held in this year. Presentation to the overall plan to the manager of the National Ballet of Spain, Antonio Najarro, to create collaboration in the future. And to the manager of general files of the government of Spain to create collaboration in the future too. Presentation, the overall plan of the coordinator of the contact point Cultura of Spain to look for collaboration in the future, especially in the sense of the European project Europa Creativa, that is next year, the 2014 from the 2020 to catalog traditional music and type in Spain and other countries that want to collaborate. Presentation to the principal of the National Institute of Aesthetic and Music to the coordinated collaboration between both organizations in last years. And to the Deputy Mr. Juan de Dios Ruano Gomez, spokesperson of Culture, and Mr. Jesus Caicedo Bernabé, to look for collaboration between both entities in the future to implement this experimental education plan. And this presentation in this conference. It significates that we need the develop future immediate actions as the meeting with representatives of the Deputy Congress Principal of the National Institute of Aesthetic Arts and Music, Government of Extremadura, Principal of the University King Juan Carlos and Feaf, next Friday, I think, yeah, next Friday in Mérida, Badajoz, to make agreements to create the experimental education plan to learn traditional music and dance in every education level in schools, next schools in this year, in September. A meeting in the Senate of Spain to the approval of this experimental education plan next 17th July with manager of cultural education of the government in Spain. A meeting in the Department of Cultura to create a virtual library of documentation of oral tradition in Spain. And approval the second certificate of specialty in traditional dance with mención Andalucía this year. Following the same direction exposed previously, it's known that different documents related with the traditional culture, as Convention of UNESCO, no law approach in defense of the traditional music and dance, or this overall plan, which have the same objectives, we come to the conclusion that we have to indicate intervention areas of this overall plan. 5 areas of intervention: analysis and action, spreading, summary and software, research and formation, to organize all the projects that take part of this overall plan. These lines of action are going to approach in the way aspects of the main objectives that includes indicated documents, and in the other way specific aspects that are reflected in action and specific activities that are being developed. The analysis and action in this plan fair try to value, analyze and look for solutions to problems that involve the world of the traditional culture in Spain and the traditional music and dance in particular, that nowadays depends, artists say, no law approach to the effort and work of no-profit associations with defense to preserve the culture. For example, the no-law approach, meetings with different principals, coordinators, several areas of the Culture and Education Minister, and National Congress of Folklore, etc. Spreading, developing activities of this area, try to go near to the people, because traditional culture is born in people and is property of the people. This fact have to be in our conscience and have to bring to all generations, children, young and adults, as our magazine Roots and Traditions, National Congress of Folklore, National Festival of Conflict, our CD of music, Roots and Traditions, the souvenirs and the world, the real possibility of loss of the immaterial, intangible cultural heritage have to be in this moment when advanced play to favor and engage of it. To favor because it's offer media to preserve it in new formats and in better conditions, and again because new age make the origin of our culture and our culture, our costume, cool laws. For example, we think activities as Traditional Closed National Exposition, Future Center Catalog of Traditional Music and Dance, or CD of our associations. The research several areas of previous points of this overall plan offer different lines to research and study of the world of the traditional music and dance, catalog of music and dance, research and educational plan, the possibility for the traditional culture in the childhood education, and some of the possibilities that can offer our overall plan as several publications and books of association and articles in Feaf magazine. And the last, the need, the information needs to offer formation to our teachers has been in several forums in the same way to our association tried but to can offer good learn, educative strategy, methodologies, etc. We have to offer academic formation to our teachers, and we try it with the first certificate of specialist in traditional dance that pretends to be completed with different actions in the educational way, as this first and second certificate of specialist in traditional dance. A great example of our purpose is the creation of this certificate, as in the collaboration between Feaf, Dance Institute Alicia Alonso of Dance, and University King Juan Carlos. This certificate began in September 2009. It was the first meeting between University Juan Carlos and Spanish Federation of Folklore Groups. As manager and coordinator of this project was the master Juanjo Liñares, who, as he said, want to take reality and bring for the world of the traditional culture in Spain. After this meeting and the death of the master, our master, entities had to work together very hard to develop this important step that never had to begin. Several interviews and meetings had to pass since this moment, and we had to decide objectives, contents, subjects, calendar, codes, etc. We had to create something that never had existed in our country. The certification tried to obtain objectives as support, counseling and work of the first graduates as specialists in international dance.